for you guys to learn something today. It's a beautiful Saturday. It's not raining. Like, it's just, I can't ask for a better day. And we're gonna have a good one. I invited my family. My dad is somewhere circling. But he was like a whole women's thing. He was like, I gotta leave the room. So I was like, my dad is not even like that. So if you see this one Haitian guy walking, you know exactly what that is. But yeah, I'm just gonna continue to voice how excited I am to be brought in by Brooklyn Public Library for LevelUP Day. LevelUp's initiative has just been really, really powerful. And it's such a great resource from the library that I think we gotta get put on to more, because it's free game, free food. I'll explain food and the metaphor of eating a little bit further, but it's free food for us to take advantage of. And given all of the obstacles that we'll talk about too, all the things ahead of us, they want to cut budget fundings and stuff like that. Like when you hear those things, like this is what it is, what it impacts us directly. So to be a part of this, to hear the squeals from Black women, like I love to hear Black joy, you know, it just really makes me glad. And I am not afraid of silence, so I'm gonna give you 4 minutes of silence before we jump right in. It'll be good. You know us?
I know you.
Yeah.
I'm scared for more. And I know some of them more. Next Tuesdays, I have a book club with Shay.
Shay who?
She suggested it. She put it in our book club group.
Really?
She's from Harlem.
I might know her by face.
You definitely know about her.
Because I'm horrible with names. Which we won't talk about that too, because I don't like knowing names. So I'm gonna learn from myself. I'm gonna have to take my own advice with some of this, because I'm horrible with names. But we gotta talk more about that. I'm very curious to hear more. See, I'm not a fan of this angle, so I'm about to move this to the center if y'all don't mind. I hope y'all don't. All right. That's what I'm talking about. I see you curious. I see you curious. How are you? What's your name?
I'm fine. I'm Sahai.
Sahai? Nice to meet you. The vowels are in the room. I'm going to try to do my best to remember everything. So we got Christy, we got Leslie, we got Sahai, we got Zenobia, and Tiffany. Excellent. Okay, so great to meet you guys. So happy. You ladies, my bad. And so glad that you ladies are in the room. It's just a habit to say it, guys. I'm aging myself because millennials do it all the time. But nevertheless, good afternoon, everyone. What time is it? You got 1 minute to go. I gave folks 5 minutes grace because I know it's hard to choose. We have a lot of great workshops going on at the same time, which is why I'm also capturing it, because you just never know for whatever reason. Let me put my devices on Do Not Disturb, because not that anybody hit me up, but you just never know. Well, good afternoon, ladies. Oh, yes, please, yes. But remember, if you see the Haitian guy, you But good afternoon, everyone. My name is Evelyn Jean-Francois, and I'll be your facilitator for the next 45 minutes for Brooklyn Public Library's networking session, Mastering the 9 to 5, the art of after-hours networking for career advancement. So shout out to you guys for taking the first step. Christy already confessed that networking makes her a little nervous, but I see she got her pen out. I see more pens out. This is great. I'm really excited to share with you all the things that I've learned through experience and getting it wrong myself as a business professional, as an entrepreneur. There's a lot of things that you just pick up, and it's just a beautiful thing to be able to learn and be able to share with you guys. So just a little bit about me. Well, the Dinner Party NYC is who I'm representing. That is my business. The Dinner Party NYC curates guided networking programs to accelerate stronger relationships and productive teamwork among entrepreneurs, teams, and organizations. Through our offerings, including networking events, leadership programs, professional development courses, and more, we've encouraged our community of 500 plus Black business owners in New York City to come new and leave known. And we look forward to bringing this culture into diverse communities in the future. So that's who we are, as who I am as the Dinner Party NYC. But just a little bit about me, I'm also a minister and a creative entrepreneur. I'm a first generation Haitian American. Born in Brooklyn from East Flatbush, so if you see East Flatbush, come out, don't be scared, it's just a part of me. I've worked in print and digital media and community organizing for about 10 years, and it's taken me on a journey of content creation to interviewing to all types of different engagements with different people. And after 10 years of talking to so many people, you start to pick up a lot of things, and you start to develop a few habits that can really help you connect with people on a deeper level versus what's your name, what you doing kind of thing. This is my dad, y'all. Dad, sit over here so you don't block the camera, Dad. Sit over here, please. But yeah, so what other thing was I saying? So before going into entrepreneurship, I worked as a business administration professional for about 8 years. My last role was at the Apollo Theater, working under the CEO and the president, which was amazing, being able to work in a predominantly Black staff after having working with other groups for so long. So now that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm getting to serve entrepreneurs, it's just been really fruitful to be able to hear what we're going through and do something about it. So I was about to say next slide, please, like I'm not doing the next slide. Nevertheless, we can't have a networking session without doing a little bit of networking. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, usually 5, 6. So Christine's already looking at me like, I don't want to talk. It's okay, it's okay. I want you, SWOT might be familiar to some, but not to all. But this SWOT is a little bit different. I want you guys to pick a letter from these, and whatever question under that letter, I want you to answer to whoever you choose to be a partner. So I already pointed to Leslie to be my partner. We could pick a letter. But for the next 5 minutes, I want you guys to answer one of these questions with each other, and then we'll regroup in 5 minutes. Cool? Cool. I want to hear conversations, okay? Pick somebody and pick a, I don't know. So we're going to answer one question from you can pick one, whatever letter you choose, answer the question.
Okay. So what are you most confident in your career?
So that's the strength. So I'm going to go with strength. What's the next few letters? If you don't mind. Sure. The question is, what challenges do you want to be, right? So for me, the things that I'm trying with a lot of community organizing, a lot of different groups, but community doesn't always do community things. Sometimes it's just kind of like, here, buy a ticket so I can make this money and go home and be handed kind of thing. So the reason why that training is everybody in my team is because that's a lot of community that I want. I've been taking advantage of it. I don't really want to try it yet. So that's just one of the things that I go through. But so let me read out other questions to you. So strengths is, what are you most confident in? Weaknesses is, what areas do you need work in immediately? Opportunities is, do you know of any resources that you can share that are readily available?
Learn and be involved.
What areas do you know you need work to work with? Networking. Also, directly that you're facing, so I'm happy to get help with that. For sure. One of my strengths, so I'm with your face, even though you know, he's just supporting. He understands the ideas, but
That's the only
again, it's just busy there with the children to do their best, so that's a strength of mine, but yeah. So again, it was right there, as far as us to close out, so I learned how to outline and give myself, remember why that was.
Oh, yeah, talk about it.
Go ahead.
So work on is feel comfortable.
Don't get quiet now. Don't get quiet. Okay.
So that's
Okay, teacher. Everybody got it off their chest?
Yeah.
Everybody inhale, exhale. I like that. Thanks for breathing. Because listen, all you gotta do to be is breathe. So as long as you keep breathing. But I had you be honest with this SWOT practice because where am I at my notes? If you're familiar with SWOT or not, SWOT analysis is a strategic planning and strategic management technique used to help a person or organization identify strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats related to business competitions or project planning. When you walk into a networking environment, you should always be ready to answer one of these 4 questions. Whenever, it doesn't matter what kind of networking event it is, you should be able to spill out your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats easily, not because you're ready to spill all your business out, but the person that you're coming in contact with, if they're networking properly, they should be able to speak to whatever your strengths are, help you with your weaknesses, pick up on the opportunity that you got, and or help diffuse the feelings that you have about the threats that you might be facing. With the SWOT analysis, like I said, it's a strategic planning practice. So networking is strategy. Networking is not just, I'm cute, everybody talk to me. With networking, you should walk in with a plan and walk out with results. Next slide, please.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
For the SWOT analysis, is it
Yeah.
like a personal assessment that you recommend, or is it like you just doing it on your own and thinking it through?
So this in particular is unique to personal analysis. If you Google SWOT analysis, they'll tell you how to apply it to your business and things like that, but I edited it and tweaked it to apply to your personal self and how you walk into a room. Because more than likely, whatever you come up with your SWOT analysis for your business, it more than likely ties into your personal as well, but this just gets in a little bit more specific. So I see squeamish already. What's going on?
Can I ask you to use this as an example?
Okay, sure.
Just, whenever, if that wasn't part of your,
I have a few more slides that might answer your question, but if I don't, feel free to bring it back up. Slide 4. So boom. Most people on Friday, well, let's do a course throughout the room. Who is a full-time corporate girly?
I was.
Who's a full-time corporate girly now?
Mama house me again.
Okay. Who's a full-time entrepreneur right now? Who's doing both? What haven't I mentioned that applies to the room?
Who is looking for a full-time corporate girly
Okay.
and has ideas of
Okay.
being an entrepreneur, but does not know what to do with it?
Okay. That's good. And anyone else? Same. Okay, great. So we are getting into the corporate world, we are getting into entrepreneur world, and we are just navigating our way. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure I knew what was in the room. So for a lot of people who are working corporate girlies or eventually going that route, once 5 p.m. on Friday comes, they shut their laptops on Monday. They either go into bed or they scroll for the rest of the day, for the rest of the weekend. They go to the bar, they do what they want to do until Monday they open up their laptop again. But for you guys, you ladies, I can already tell that this is not something that you want to do. You don't got time to be sitting in bed right now. You got connections to be made. There's people that you need to talk to. But like Christy said, you just don't know how. Like Leslie said, sometimes she's too nice. Somebody might take advantage of you. I understand all the things, but I want to congratulate you. Welcome to the room. You came right on time. We ain't really doing nothing to you. We haven't gotten 2 weeks, so you're right on time. What's your name?
Shonda
And?
Peace.
Peace? Yeah. Welcome to Mastering the 5 to 9. the art of networking. So we've just kind of gone over some of our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats within our personal lives. And we're just going over who's in the room right now and why this slide matters to you ladies. So most of us, because we're here at the library on a Saturday afternoon, this is not us. This is not, that wrinkled bed is empty because we're here. So clap it up for yourselves. You should be proud that you are seeking knowledge. I just wanted to make sure you knew that you're doing a good job. You're doing a good job. So why networking? Why we network? Networking is the most successful way of finding a meaningful job and attaining career success. 80% of professionals find networking essential to their career success. Almost 100% believe that face-to-face meetings build stronger long-term relationships, and 41% want to network more often. So I'm gonna assume that y'all make up that 100% that believe face-to-face meetings matter. Am I right? Okay. What about the 80% of professionals find networking essential? Who considers networking essential? Okay, all right. What about the 41% that want to network more often? Is that? Okay, we're in the right room. We're in the right room. That's what I like to hear. So if I don't even have to go for what I wrote because it don't apply to y'all. Next slide, please. So this is why we network, but what exactly is networking? So if you go on Indeed, which is the leading this is LinkedIn. If you go on LinkedIn, which is the leading social network app for professionals, they'll tell you that networking is the exchange of information and ideas among people with a common profession or a special interest, often in an informal setting. If you go to Merriam-Webster, they'll say that the exchange of information or services among individuals, groups, or institutions is networking. If you go on Indeed, which is the leading job-seeking website, they'll tell you that networking is the act of forming and maintaining relationships for employment. That's what they said on the internet. But what the Dinner Party NYC says, networking is a verb. Networking is the intentional action to meet new partners for consideration to work to produce results in professional, casual, and service environments. It's not passing out business cards or mentions on social media. It's not shaking hands or remembering old faces. Networking is work. I feel like that's why the word is in there. Networking is not, I don't want to say networking is not fun, but you should, like I mentioned earlier, you should walk in with expectations and leave with results. You don't walk into networking floating. If you've done it before, I'm not mad at you, because it's come, especially any native New Yorkers here. Okay, I've got a few native New Yorkers here. It's kind of easy for us to just pull up on the block and we're talking. It's like, yeah, no, I know him all my life. That's my guy. Like, that's not networking. That's just that. Instead of that being networking, that's actually socializing. And networking is not socializing. I'm gonna pause here so I can breathe and keep my notes together. Yep, networking is not socializing. Networking, surely, yes, it's a social activity, but it's not all fun and games. Networking is not fun and games. In order to be successful at making connections, you need to be as informed as possible to direct your conversations throughout the time you spend in the room. So the information that you gather from reflecting, researching, reviewing, and releasing, that information is like your Thanos. I don't know if you have any Marvel fans in the room, but it's like a Thanos. It's just your money bag in your hand. Hey everybody, this is the rest of the family. Thank you for support. Bless the Lord. So, what'd you say? Okay, gotcha. So the information that you gather from reflection, researching, reviewing, and releasing is what makes it networking versus socializing. Because when you socialize, you can go to a bar, you can go to the happy hour, get your drink, somebody compliments your outfit, you sit in there, you take a few selfies, you go home, you feel good, you got your endorphins, you saw black women complimented you, everything was great. But when you network, like I said earlier, you gotta get those results. So, slide 9, I just wanna make sure my slides and everything. So, reflection, how do you reflect? How do you reflect? These 3 questions, who are you? What is your why, and what are you looking to change? This is what you have to assess in your reflections. Networking starts with you. When you walk into the room, you need to be able to tell your story. You can't, not that you can't be stuttering, but you should be able to tell your story confidently because nobody knows you. And it's okay if nobody knows you, especially in New York City where people are like, oh, you gotta know this person to do that. Yes, that is true, but if you don't know how to tell your story, nobody's gonna be able to do so. Your why is important because once you're comfortable talking about yourself, you have to be able to articulate clearly and concisely why you're in the room. It dictates where the connection begins and ends. And lastly, you have to reflect on what you're looking to change. This goes back to our SWOT analysis with our weaknesses, with our threats, with our opportunities. Networking says more about you than it says about anyone else. You have to be honest about what you need help with and clear on your plan to do something about it. So like I said about networking being work, right? So you can't say you've networked and not actually talk about the things that you need help with. Because the whole point of networking is, please, if you're good at math and I suck at math, I need you to help my accounting books because I can't get it right. If you are working at this role in this building and I'm trying to get in the building, you know the HR professional, please get my resume on the table because you know who you are. You know when that person puts the resume on the table, when they call you up, you already know what you're gonna say. Why? Because you knew that the person put you on already, you're ready. That why, it knocks everything out of the park because whoever you're coming in contact with agrees with your why and they wanna help you. So the work comes on two sides of the spectrum. You have work to do, and if you've effectively networked, the person that you've spoken to also is persuaded and enticed to also do some work on their end to help you as well. So that's reflection. The work that you have to do with the research. This is what I do all the time. Research the venue, research the media, research the guests. For me, when I research the venue, it helps me out, especially in New York City. I gotta figure out how far is it from the train, if I'm wearing heels. Because if I'm wearing heels, I gotta change my shoes a block away from the venue just in case I run into somebody on the way into the spot. They already saw me room ready. They didn't see me switching into my sneakers right in front of the venue. It matters, trust me. The venue is one of the most important aspects to your success in networking. Knowing exits, entrances, parking, floors, indoor, outdoor capacities can give you a heads up on where to spend the most time, your travel time, and even alleviates anxiety when dealing with large crowds or large rooms. Leslie spoke to me about feeling a little anxious about being around a lot of people. When you Google the venue, you already know how big it is, how many people you should expect. You can even spot where you want to be at in the room, depending on if there's interviews happening, so on and so forth. Researching the sponsor/media is really important because when that recap comes, you know exactly whose business card to get when you want to look for those photos and those videos, especially when you get hired and they want to invite you to different venues, they want to invite you to different events. You reach out to those media folks, get a hold of that content, and now you have things, tangible items that you can bring to your team and say, listen, this is what I did, this is who I shook hands with, this was who was there, this is what I learned. That tangible, like the way I'm recording right here, like that tangible evidence really does change the way people look at you in the workplace, but it also just helps with the receipts. I talked about receipts earlier, just having those, I did that, I went and I took the picture, and even though sometimes pictures can be a facade, we looked at it a little later, but doing the research beforehand can help you, so when you're in the room, you know exactly who to talk to. And then lastly, research the guests in the room. Nowadays, a lot of RSVP links come with the attendees already listed. You'll know who'll be in the room before you even get there. So you can have a list. Okay, I want to talk to Evelyn. I want to talk to Lauren. I want to talk to Ashley. I want to talk to Winnie. If I don't get to Winnie, I need to make sure I talk to Lauren. Why does that matter? Because more than likely, you're not going to be able to talk to everybody in the room. It's just impossible, especially if you might be struggling with social anxiety. But if you have faces in your head already, names already, you can tap into your why quickly when you walk up to Evelyn, because you already know that you already got 4 people ready to speak to. Your why is ready to go, your help is ready to be asked for, and it just helps, it guides you throughout the evening so you're not feeling so purposeless. And that's something that sometimes you can face when you are trying to network. It's like, well, what do I do now? Well, do your research, you're already ready. You gotta stay ready, so you never gotta get ready. And that's why research is important. Next slide, please. Thirdly, what you have to review. You have to review what you're working on, what work you have capacity for, and what you will not do. So what you're working on is very important because when you meet people, sure, the fluff is great, but then they ask you things like, what are you working on? Not because they're being so superficial, but they just want to see what you're capable of. They want to see if you've done work that they need you to do. And if you don't have that ready, if you don't have that spiel, and a lot of folks struggle with moments like these because it feels like you're selling yourself, but you are selling yourself because there's a goal that you want to have, you want to get hired, you want to meet these people, and they don't know you. So who else is going to tell your story better than you? So you have to make sure, let me see, I don't want to make sure I'm repeating myself. It's easier for them when you tell folks what you do, it's easier for folks to help you out, and it's easy for them to reach out to you when they need help based on what you know how to do. What work do you have capacity for? Being able to answer that question easily is probably the most important part of the review process. Because one thing's for sure, two things for certain, everybody's hyped in the beginning. Everybody's hyped when they start the new project, when they make the new connection, but as soon as the tasks start coming, they stop texting you back, the phone calls start getting lighter, the emails start getting lighter, and you don't want to be meeting new people and gaining a reputation of somebody who falls through, somebody who's not reliable. Those are not words that you want to associate with new people, especially new people in new circles that you're trying to get into. Because this New York City world gets smaller and smaller every day, especially among Black women. So you don't want to be that girl. You don't want to be that girl. I'll stop right there. You just don't want to be that girl. And it's also to review what you will not do. There are points in your career where you know how to do certain things in the back of your mind to the point, I'm not touching that no more. Don't even ask me to do that no more. It's not a part of my job description anymore. Sure, I can do it, but I'm not going to do it. And a lot of people here are like, oh, you do content creation? Here, record this for me. I'm not recording nothing. Because that takes away from where I'm trying to go, the opportunities that I asked about, the strengths that I spoke about, the weaknesses that I talked about, the threats that I talked about. If you ask me to record, how am I going to build if I'm doing things that I've been doing since 2004? We have to think about what we're building on, and it's important that you know what you're going to say no to at the beginning of the conversation. So I'll pause here for a second. Give folks time to exhale because it's a lot of we on step 3 right now. So I'll give folks time to pause if there are any questions. We can answer them now, or if you want, we can wait till later and we can keep going. I'll leave it up to the room to decide. Yeah.
So how do you find a way to make, well, 2 questions. How do you find a way to manage when someone is not realizing that this network, like I'm not here for socializing, like I actually want to keep it focused on networking, or if there's a situation where you're being social, is it appropriate to try to switch it or transition to a networking opportunity? Because like you said, they're not synonymous.
No, they are not. That's a really good question. I think you have 2 options, especially if it's somebody that you know you want to get into work with. Take the first and earliest opportunity to switch the conversation. Don't do it in a rude way or unpleasant way. You can smile and be like, so about that role on your team. Yeah. You can absolutely pivot the conversation. You can take control of the conversation because remember, you walk into the room, you change your shoes a block away, you're ready. So you being able to control the conversation is better than waiting for them to bring it up because they don't know what you want out of this entire engagement. And the quicker you can find out if they're even willing to help, the easier it is for you to take that information and either move on or build on that conversation, I would say. And if somebody really doesn't want to talk about work, respect that. Like listen, it's Saturday too. I wouldn't want, some people don't want to talk about work on Saturdays. You gotta respect it and keep it pushing. And catch them at another time, maybe, or something like that. Or if anything, get their contact, save it for later for when they might be in a situation that they might need some work done. Some folks, when they think about networking, it feels manipulative. It's really not manipulative. It's strategic. It's only manipulative if you plan on doing them harm. But we ain't in a room to do nothing like that. We're here to grow each other. And don't be afraid to do this work. I think review and reflect usually get confused the most. They can kind of blend into each other, but they are really different because you're not the work that you do. You are not the work that you do. If nobody's ever told you that, learn it today. Who you are and what you do are 2 different things, and you don't want to walk into a room with your resume on your forehead. You are human first, and people are not going to engage with your resume in the long run. They're gonna engage with the human that they're in front of. So that reflect step is very important, equally important as the review step. How are you feeling? You good? That was a great question. Let me make sure I'm on the same. Yes, okay. The last, release. Release is the step that I think, it's one of the most difficult steps for folks to see through to the end. So you have to let go of expectations. Not everyone you're excited to meet is excited to meet you. It doesn't matter how many times you've seen them on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Bebo, MySpace, Forex, what else, Skonex, no matter how many times you've seen them, it really, like, some people just won't match your energy. Some people just don't have it in them. That's the human part of them. So you have to figure out if you want to deal with this human before you even try to get into work with them. You have to let go of the idea you have in your mind about people, especially those in leadership. Because your admiration for them could cloud the reality of who they are. Unfortunately, sometimes you'll run into people in leadership who are more managers than leaders. So they might not do the guidance that you're looking for. They might not give you the resources that you're looking for. So it's important to let go of expectations when you're in the room. Don't expect nothing from nobody. Shoot your shot. Like I said, if it don't work out, keep it pushing. It's another day, it's another person. Nobody is the key to your success. You are the key to your success. Inhale faith, exhale doubt. Remember, I said I was a minister. I'm not gonna get churchy. But I will say that anxiety is the enemy of progress, and imposter syndrome is the enemy of boldness. If you're in the room, be in the room on purpose. Practice feeling the fear and take that leap of faith anyway. People are only people. They breathe, they sweat, they do all the things just like you. And it's important not to let people hinder you from the ideas, the dreams, the projects that you want to see become a reality. And let go of the idea of perfection. Nobody on earth is perfect, and the desire to be perfect is what keeps you from meeting great people. Not every conversation, not every exchange will be smooth and without hiccup, and the perfect conversation does not exist. Do your best with each conversation and try again with somebody else. If y'all didn't know this, there's about 7 billion people on earth, and I feel like half of them live in New York City. Anyway, so all you gotta do, if it don't work with one, be like, okay, on to the next one. Don't hold on to any one conversation, even though I know some words mean things, and sticks and stones may break my bones, and all the other things. But do your best not to take these things personal, and to release all of the things that are not of you, and embrace all the things that are. Those 4 steps, these right here, reflect, research, review, and release, is what separates networking from socializing. If you don't learn anything else, don't walk into no networking event trying to make friends. I hope you guys have your own friends. We love coworkers that become friends, but networking is for a purpose. Okay? We good?
Yes.
All right. All right. So now you're in the room. You made it in the room. You reserved the RSVP. You changed your shoes. You smell good. Clothes is iron. Now you're in the room. But before you get in the room, of course, you have to put on something. You have to figure out what you're gonna wear. A lot of networking events, usually business casual is appropriate, but depending on the brand and where you're at, those things can change. But with whatever you put on, when in doubt, overdress. Overdressing will never steer you wrong unless you're at the gym. And we don't network at the gym. You really can, but that's more a socializing environment versus a networking environment. But wherever you are, what we wear plays a huge role in the success we have connecting and meeting new people. Clothes don't make the person, but they can make for great conversation. Symbols, colors, logos, flags, and even name brands can help break the ice because these symbols connect us to one another. I put the slide on, people started laughing. I don't know what y'all was laughing at. What did y'all see? What jumped out?
Black overdressed.
Being overdressed jumped out? What else?
Black owned.
Black owned,
Because you'll see something that someone has on and it could be a great conversation starter. Oh, Telfar or Brenda Blackwood or these Black Greek organizations.
Yep. These I would say these kind of logos, because there are a plethora of more logos, but logos like these are usually the things that spark conversation from strangers. So if you're like Leslie, who's like, I don't know how to talk to people, put on something, people want to talk to you regardless. Like, oh my God, I didn't even know Telfar came with that color. You'd be like, girl, that's because I'm a brand strategist and this is the color of my brand, and you should know more about my brand. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God, you went to Brooklyn College? Yes, my mentor went to Brooklyn College. She's the professor of yada, 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 and she works out of this, and I really wanted to find mentorship in something similar because I've exhausted her, yada, 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 yada. Oh my God, you're an AKA? Yes, my mom is an AKA, and make it count. Make it count. Usually, one thing I'll say that I didn't write up here, if you put it on, you should know how to talk about it. Don't put it on and be like, this whole thing. No, baby, please have something that you can loop. Like, oh, I love that you mentioned that. This applies to this. Whatever you put on while you're putting it on in your house, already have a story to tell. Somebody complimented my dress today. I was like, yes, girl, it's thrifted because being an entrepreneur, I can't be going to Neiman's all the time to get a new dress, baby. I gotta buy an $8 dress to make it work. And then they're like, oh my God, what's your business? I'm glad you asked. Yada, 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 yada. So this goes into what I mentioned about being intentional, knowing your why, because it all plays a role. Networking is such a meticulous practice that the more you practice it, the more it comes naturally to you. And you're like, oh, I can do this in my sleep. But that comes by doing it all the time, staying ready, wearing these logos. Some of these logos come in pins and hats and socks, ties, accessories, nail colors, earrings, barrettes, glasses, whatever you can wear on your person. If you can talk about it, make it worth your while. When in doubt, overdress. It never steers me wrong, and it won't for you either, I promise. All right, now you're in a room, you look fly. Somebody spoke to you about your fit, you look great. You've already looped it into your initiative and why you're in the room. Now you got your phone in your hand. Your phone is not your date. Your phone, when you go to the event and RSVP, they don't ask for your phone, they ask for your name. Your phone is not your date. It is a tool that you should be using to help you network more efficiently. Let me make sure I'm on my right slide. Yeah, sometimes folks walk into a room, they stand in the corner on their phone, multiplying pi times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7 times 7. Because of social anxiety, because they don't know what to do, because they feel awkward, they're not comfortable in what they're wearing, all these things. When you're in the room, do your best to be present in the room. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb to avoid interruptions. If you have an iPhone, you can put an item on your calendar and it will set your phone to Do Not Disturb automatically. So you don't even have to worry about your phone going off. That is probably like number one. Turn off your social media notifications, your gym apps, your everything apps. Mute it all so that when you're in the room, you can focus on why you came into the room. QR codes have links and contact information easily accessible. My phone is over there, but I have a few more slides later. I'll share with you the QR app that I use. But when you have this QR app, it's really easy to make quick connections because the folks will scan it. It'll give them your email, your LinkedIn, all of the things that you would want them to have in a really quick process. So having a QR code, using technology instead of business cards, we're trying to save the earth. We're not trying to be wasting all this paper. And sometimes you might be going to a networking event impromptu and you forgot your business cards. You don't, and that anxiety, like, oh my God, I don't have my business cards, I'm unprepared. No, baby, it's on my phone. You already prepared. Your phone can be used to capture moments and record interviews that are useful for social media and remembering important details. If you must use your phone, if you're in a panel discussion, an interview, if you are somewhere that you want to remember this forever, use your voice memo app. Use your video cameras. Use anything to capture because you just never know. iPhones have a really great ability to also mark the location. So if you went to a networking event one time, like you all went to this spot, and then your job is looking for a new location to have their next professional development program. Oh, I went to a spot, you have the location, you're ready to go. Now you're more of an asset in the workplace than just what's on your job description because you stayed ready, you was ready, you got the materials. Next, have your calendar ready to secure time with eager and ready people. So, you go to a networking event, most times, you will come across a few eager beavers who have things coming up. Most times people come to networking events to promote their networking event. It's a part of the game. It's really no shade to anybody. So when you do come across those eager folks, you don't want to be that girl like, yeah, I'm gonna be there. And then next Tuesday you realize that you're double booked, you never could make it. Once again, it goes back to sounding unreliable, appearing disorganized, all those things. So make sure your calendar is up to date and ready to get packed with some things if you can do those things, if you have capacity for those things. Use your notes app to jot down names if you don't have your QR code, any pertinent details that might be really useful for your follow-ups. Make sure that you're using that note app for good and not for ZYXW, whatever, taking up space for no reason. And of course, you can't do none of this if your phone is dead. Please keep your phone charged. Do your best. Bring your charger. Do what you gotta do to keep your phone alive. In some generous times and places you can meet with, you can have staff charge your phone or whatever have you, but you don't want to do all that. You don't waste your time. Have your phone in a good place. I would say 50% and above, but if not, low power mode does great wonders. If you have an iPhone, turn off your Wi-Fi, your Bluetooth to preserve battery, and all the things. Remember, it's not your date, it's your tool. Next slide, please. Food is fuel. Let me make sure I got this right. Food is fuel. Food and drink make up most of the most attractive networking events that you experience. The bites are usually small, delicious, and almost irresistible. Program organizers are intentional about who provides the food because tasty food means happy guests. Happy guests means great photos, and great photos means great storytelling. And everyone seemingly gets what they want. However, eating can be a distraction and an excuse to have something to do and have someone to talk to. While it's important to see how people engage with service workers are not there to converse with you the whole night. You are not in the room to become friends with your server. Enjoy the food and get back to the mission.
So don't sit by the hors d'oeuvre table, what you saying?
I'm just saying, if you're the girlie that stands by the hors d'oeuvre table or you stand by the room that they're coming out of, it's just, don't do that, babe. Like, I would encourage you to eat before you get there, but listen, life moving, and when we're busy, sometimes you forget to eat. This might be the first time you actually had something to eat. I get it. But remember, food is fuel. Get there at a decent time, eat, get everything out your teeth, do what you gotta do, and get back to the mission, because you can end up using the service workers as a cushion. Now you know the name, you know where you went to high school, that's your homegirl now. And the people who you're actually there to meet in the room, they see you conversing with the service workers. It's just like, well, is she staff? Is she off the clock? Like, you don't want, I'm not saying that people are watching you like that, but you just don't want to make your goal for the evening talking to the staff. Food can also be a distraction because you don't want to talk with your mouth full. I mean, even though sometimes people be racing for the food, so you never got a chance, you got to take a quick bite. I'm not telling you to be less than human. I'm just trying to tell you to use your discretion when you're eating throughout the night, because it could just take up a lot of time because your eyes was on the platters the whole time looking for the bacon wrapped scallops, and like the opportunities is knocking. So please enjoy the food and get back to the mission. And I gotta bring this up. Sobriety. Sobriety breeds success. When it comes to networking, alcohol is optional. Alcohol is optional. My parents are very happy to hear me say this because I've had plenty of networking events that turned into socializing events, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, alcohol consumption is an element of networking that comes with a risk. The line between feeling nice and having one too many is too fickle to leave to chance. A sober mind helps to control the tongue, and while alcohol is usually available, free, and encouraged to enjoy in networking settings, you don't have to drink. It's better to be remembered for self-control than for lack thereof. If you must drink, watch the clock. Monitor your drink intake by the hour and oscillate between virgin and alcoholic drinks throughout your evening. There are unique cases where knowledge of wines and spirits can support your image and reputation, but you can always save that for the follow-up meeting. Like, if you know the difference between Sauvignon Blanc from like 1940 and 1960, we love that. But you don't want to brag about that if that's not needed for what you're in the room for. I think this is self-explanatory, so I don't have to go any deeper, but please drink responsibly. It's really not necessary. And a pineapple and Sprite in a flute goes a long way. Sometimes you just need the champagne look. I know, I feel you. Champagne and Sprite, or not champagne and Sprite, Sprite and pineapple gets the job done, for me at least, or ginger beer. But be careful with ginger beer because it makes me sneeze. I sneezed on somebody one time, it was, so do what you know about you, okay? Let me make sure I got that. Okay, I'll pause here. Any questions? Any questions? Yeah?
Not related, but is your phone actually charging?
I was thinking about that.
It's not plugged in.
It's not. You see, Black women in tech.
Oh, that is not
Like, you
Oh,
gotta
like-
plug in the power strip to the wall.
It's not. It's all right.
Do you need some, do you need that to plug in?
I mean,
I can't see.
I would love that. Thank you. But I don't want to. Oh Lord, see, this is networking work. I'll never forget Christine. Like you tell.
do that. Hi.
Oh, you see? Thank you. Oh, everybody's working. Thank you so much. Okay, great. Y'all are great. But if anybody needs to charge their phone, I got it. So we do. Anyways, so that's that on drinking. Next up, the follow-up is the most critical aspect of networking because it allows the first encounter to become a longer-lasting relationship. The follow-up is important because this is what makes or breaks a relationship. You cannot have a successful partnership if you only met them one time in the spring and then again in December for the winter, and nothing has been done. The follow-up is the seesaw balancing act that helps your success. When you follow up via email, these three things, especially when you're following up via email, take the cake in doing it in a successful way. Wasted time is wasted opportunity. So if you meet somebody today, I would say that the latest that you should be reaching out to them would be Tuesday evening. People's memory of you can dwindle if you take too long to reach out to them. Be sure to reach out within 1 to 2 business days. With every day that passes by, this is time that you could have spent building, but instead are now picking up the pieces. If you send the email really, really late in the game, and that remembering, depending on people's memory to make a difference, it's just too much risk. And if a quick email, hey, it was really great to meet you. I would love to chat more about the roles that you have available at your current company right now. Boom. Hey, I don't remember who this is. Then you could really lay it on them because you researched the media, folks. You got your photos. You follow up with those photos, include it in the email, and similar fashion. Rewriting the recap. When you reach out, be sure to be specific about when, where, and how you were connected. People can be busy and come face to face with a lot of individuals, and you want to be as specific as possible to jog their memory and remind them of the great connection. Hey, how you doing? Feel so have a seat right here. I don't want you to stand. Welcome. You want to be as specific as possible to jog their memory and remind them of the great connection that was made. If you made a great connection, feel free to include all the details because more than likely, people like to relive a good memory or relive a good joke that you might have had or whatever connection y'all had over a logo or whatever have you. People like to relive that. It shows the human side of you, and yes, you're about getting that work, but rewriting the recap brings the human aspect back to the connection. And lastly, stifle your entitlement. We black women are the most educated, we are the most hardworking, we get the job done. But we can't expect things to go our way all the time. The ways that things play out in our heads is not the way that it lives out in real life. When you haven't asked or you want to just say hello, you must not badger or persist in an unpleasant way. Reach out on a weekly basis. I would say after 3 follow-ups on a weekly basis, take a chill pill on there. Reach out, and the reason why is maybe not they're not ignoring you. They could be swamped. They could miss their emails. Folks really do have hundreds of emails, and it's not you, it's them. Why they not getting through their emails? I don't know, but don't take it personal. Stifle that entitlement because you might run into them before they get back to your email, and you don't want to run into them again and you got an attitude because they didn't reach out to you via email. Now you seem stink and the person walking up to you is already ready to apologize because they haven't had a chance to get back to your email. Stifle that entitlement. Reach out on a weekly basis if you have not heard from them. And if that doesn't work, circle back during another quarter. Happy summer, like happy Thanksgiving. Reach out during another quarter, or when you've completed a project you think that they might be interested in learning more about. Remember, networking is about work. So if you're following up to say hi, thanks. We love greetings, we love keeping up, but it's even better if you can follow up and say, hey, here's this project that I worked on. I would love your feedback, or check this out on LinkedIn, what I was able to do. It shows, I'm sorry, I'm from Flatbush. I don't know what can translate to in better languages, but yeah, you should be, if you are gonna follow up later, much later, have something to talk about that will interest them. What do you know about their interests? You might have taken notes about them in your phone, or you might have looked them up online, or you might have a photo from that event with them. Whatever you can follow up about, that's more than just, especially if months have passed by. But holidays are great times to be courteous and warm and human and friendly. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Mother's Day, happy Flag Day, there's always a day these days. So whatever you can think of that can give you a reason to reach out, use it to your advantage, but please stifle that entitlement. So a few resources that you can take advantage of to get your networking well. Of course, you can take advantage of the Dinner Party NYC on a monthly basis. We host professional development programs that help build your skills, whether you're an entrepreneur or getting back into the corporate world. Of course, Brooklyn Public Library's Business and Career Center offers free resources for you to take advantage of. LevelUP in New York City is also a platform that puts on your calendar any networking event based on your industry. The Calm app relieves your anxiety on top of the Bible and whatever else you might want to use. New York City Small Business Services, I'm mad that the logo is green like that, it's hard to see, but New York City Small Business Services, Transform the Hustle is also a really great organization that can bring you around like-minded people to help you practice your networking. Black Girl Ventures is also another platform that can connect you with great folks. And the Creative Collective NYC. Participating and engaging with these organizations puts you in rooms to get your network practicing on. Remember, networking is about work and you gotta put it to practice. It's not like I mentioned previously, it won't always go well, but the more you get in those rooms talking about those things, the easier and the better, and the more likely you are to build relationship and get work done. I would definitely say if you walk into a networking event and leave with no kind of work, like not an email ready to send, a pitch deck, loop somebody else in, if there's no work attached to the connection you made, you've socialized. There's nothing wrong with that. The next time you see them, don't socialize again. Like, it's great to see you again. Let's talk about ... Those are resources that you can take advantage of. And thank you. This was Mastering the 5 to 9. The art of after-hours networking for career advancement. Feel free to scan this slide or this QR code so that you can stay connected with the Dinner Party NYC and the work and the offerings that we have. If you want to reach out to me directly, I'm here in the room, but if there's anything else, you can also reach out to info@the Dinner Party NYC. Reach out to us on our website, and you can find us on Instagram @the Dinner Party NYC. And that is all. Good. Well, thanks so much for joining me on this journey. I hope you ladies learned something, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Yes, Tiffany.
So is it true,
Yeah.
I've heard this, that when you go networking, you should stand in the middle of the room? I just wanted your opinion about that. What do you think?
Your location in the room.
Okay.
Really, I don't want to say it has nothing to do with your success, but it doesn't make much of an impact. I say your location in the room matters, especially if you have your sights set on maybe panelists. I sit in a room for like, if I sit in a panel discussion and I have a question, whenever I go to a panel discussion, because you know they have Q&As ready, I always got a question ready. So they're like, oh, they give me the mic, I'm standing up in the middle making eye contact with the person, because whatever I don't even care what the answer is. I just want them to get on the stage so that when I come up to them to talk about what I really want to talk about, they already know my face and they know what I'm here to talk about. But the location in the room, though, I wouldn't spend too much time on, because what if the place is packed? Yeah. I would say that's a degree of networking is left up to chance because, we can't control who's gonna be standing next to you. But everything that you can control, I would say make sure you have a good grasp on. Yeah.
Can you give a situation where networking has like pushed the dinner party NYC forward, like you network and it ended up in this for your own personal? I feel like that would just be motivating to think in mind.
I'm glad you asked, Sylvia. So it was January 2024. I am subscribed to LevelUP, and I got an email about at the evening networking mixer that they had hosted by Black Girls Can. And they sent the email and it was like, this event is sold out. So I was like, well, I'm getting it. If the event is sold out, why am I getting this? I can't sign up. I saw at the bottom of the email that volunteers were needed. Email for volunteers. Remember, networking requires work. So I was like, all right, I can't go to the event. Let me volunteer for the event. So 5 minutes, we right on time, yes. So I emailed and I offered to volunteer. I volunteered. The first person that I shook hands with was Lauren, the director of LevelUP. And she didn't know nothing about me, and I didn't talk about the dinner party because why? I signed up to be a volunteer. When you sign up to volunteer, you don't walk in with your brand on your forehead. You gotta walk in with their brand on your forehead because that's what you signed up to do. You didn't sign up to sell your stuff. So it wasn't until the end of the evening I thanked them for allowing me to volunteer. I worked on production, so I was building stuff. They gave me a little ruler, some glue. I was doing what I had to do. At the end of the night, I thanked Lauren for allowing me to participate in this capacity. And then I shared that my name is Evelyn of the Dinner Party NYC. Her eyes lit up. She was like, the Dinner Party NYC? Oh my God. And I was just like, yeah, you know us. Long story short, I got on a call with her and told her about our guided networking initiatives. And we didn't reconnect for about 3 months. And then when the planning for this was coming up, she reached out knowing that we spearhead a lot of networking things. And here we are today. So that's how networking requires work and produces results. So if you don't want to work, then be a socialite. Like, there's nothing wrong with socialites. Socialites get opportunities just the same, but there's a different type of mindset and humility that's required, I think, with some networking. And that's just a personal testimony for the dinner party. Any other questions? Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna bow out and thank you so much for participating. Can I just show my hands? Did we learn something today? Yeah. Excellent. So if you keep up with the Dinner Party NYC, we will share these slides for you to have on your own. Having resources is really important to us at the Dinner Party NYC because everybody gotta eat. And eating doesn't always mean earning, unfortunately, but having resources that you can use over and over, we call them leftovers. So leftovers like these are really, really useful to keep in your back pocket when you need them. So I'm happy to share them with you. Subscribe to the Dinner Party NYC's email list. You'll get them directly to your email and keep up with us. I'd be happy to see you guys again in the future. So have fun for yourself for coming. And I think we now go into another intermission. I'm not sure, but we're good to go, y'all. Thanks again. I just want a picture of the room, if you don't mind, with my phone. Is everybody here?
Everybody's not here to do a video.
Everybody say networking! Networking! Thanks, y'all. Y'all have a good day. Rest of the day. Class dismissed.
How are you? So you see her?
Oh, yes. Please get your charger.
Why are you sleeping?
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate you.
That's dismissed.
Hey, family. How you doing? David, I'm sorry that I was so boring.